In the quiet moments of our lives, when the world seems overwhelming and the path ahead uncertain, we often find ourselves yearning for guidance and wisdom. It is in these times that the power of prayer becomes a beacon of hope, illuminating our way and leading us closer to divine understanding. Today, let's embark on a journey together, exploring the profound connection between prayer, divine guidance, and the wisdom that only God can provide. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast forest, the trees stretching endlessly towards the sky. The path before you is unclear, shrouded in shadows and uncertainty. In such moments, it's natural to feel lost or hesitant. Yet, just as a compass guides a traveler through unknown terrain, prayer serves as our spiritual compass, directing us towards clarity and purpose. Take, for instance, the story of Solomon. King Solomon was renowned for his wisdom, a gift he humbly acknowledged was granted by God. In 1 Kings 3 verse 9, Solomon prays, "Give your servant therefore an understanding mind to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil." This heartfelt prayer didn't just seek wisdom for personal gain, but for the betterment of his people. And God answered him, bestowing unparalleled wisdom that became the foundation of his reign. Solomon's story reminds us that when we seek divine guidance with a sincere heart, we open ourselves to receiving wisdom beyond our understanding. It encourages us to approach God not merely with requests, but with a desire to align our will with His, trusting that He knows what is best for us. In our modern lives, the need for guidance and wisdom remains as pressing as ever. Whether we're facing career decisions, personal relationships, or moments of crisis, the assurance that God is listening can transform our approach to challenges. Imagine a young professional, Emily, who felt uncertain about her career path. She prayed earnestly for direction, seeking not just success but fulfillment and purpose. Through prayer and reflection, Emily discovered her true calling in a field she had previously overlooked, leading her to a career that not only brought her joy but also allowed her to serve others meaningfully. Emily's testimony echoes the timeless truth found in James 1 verse 5. "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him." This verse reassures us that God is generous with His wisdom, ready to impart understanding to those who seek it earnestly. As we delve deeper into the practice of prayer for guidance, it's essential to understand that prayer is not merely a ritual but a profound conversation with the Creator. It's a moment to quiet our minds, open our hearts, and listen for His voice amidst the noise of everyday life. To cultivate this connection, consider setting aside dedicated time each day for prayer and reflection. Find a peaceful space where you can be still, free from distractions, and allow yourself to be fully present in the moment. In the Bible, we find numerous instances where prayer led to divine intervention and wisdom. Take the story of Moses, leading the Israelites out of Egypt. Faced with the daunting task of guiding a restless and uncertain people, Moses turned to God for direction. In Exodus 33 verse 12, he asks, "Now, please, if I have found favor in your eyes, show me now your ways, that I may know you better and continue to find favor with you." God's response was profound, revealing His presence and reaffirming His guidance for Moses and his people. Moses' reliance on prayer teaches us the importance of seeking God's presence continually, especially when the journey ahead seems formidable. It encourages us to trust that we are not alone and that with divine guidance, we can overcome any obstacle. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the multitude of choices and the pressure to make the right decisions. Prayer offers a sanctuary where we can pause, reflect, and seek clarity. Consider the story of Daniel, who, despite being in a foreign land, remained steadfast in his faith. His commitment to prayer and seeking God's wisdom allowed him to navigate complex political landscapes and emerge as a respected leader. Daniel's example illustrates that unwavering faith and consistent prayer can provide the strength and insight needed to thrive, even in challenging environments. It reminds us that our commitment to seeking divine guidance can empower us to rise above circumstances and fulfill our potential. Practical application of prayer for guidance involves more than just speaking to God. It requires active listening and discernment. After presenting our requests and concerns, we must remain attentive to the subtle nudges and signs that may guide us towards the right path. This practice cultivates a deeper relationship with God, fostering an environment where His wisdom can permeate our thoughts and actions. Let us also reflect on the story of Esther, a young queen who found herself in a position to save her people. Faced with immense pressure and danger, Esther turned to prayer for courage and guidance. In Esther 4 verse 14, she says, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Her prayerful deliberation and subsequent actions not only saved her people, but also fulfilled a divine purpose. Esther's story underscores the power of prayer in recognizing and embracing our roles in God's grand design. It encourages us to seek His guidance in understanding our unique place in the world and the impact we can make when we act in alignment with His will. Modern-day testimonies further illustrate the transformative power of prayer for guidance. Consider the story of John, who faced a life-altering decision about his education. Torn between pursuing a lucrative career and following his passion for teaching, John turned to prayer for clarity. Through persistent prayer and seeking counsel from trusted mentors, he found the courage to follow his heart, ultimately becoming a beloved teacher who inspires countless students every day. John's experience mirrors the biblical narratives, demonstrating that prayer can lead us to make decisions that not only honor God, but also bring fulfillment and purpose to our lives. It highlights the importance of trusting in God's timing and wisdom, even when the path ahead is unclear. To deepen our relationship with God and become more attuned to His presence, it's vital to integrate prayer into our daily routines. Start by setting aside specific times each day to connect with God, whether it's in the morning, during a lunch break, or before bedtime. Use this time to express your thoughts, concerns, and gratitude, and to seek His guidance for the day ahead. Incorporate Scripture into your prayers to anchor your requests in God's promises. For instance, meditate on Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Let these words resonate in your heart as you seek divine guidance, reinforcing your trust in His plan. Additionally, cultivate an attitude of openness and humility. Be willing to surrender your own desires and be receptive to the direction God provides, even if it leads you down an unexpected path. Embrace the uncertainty with faith, knowing that God's wisdom surpasses our limited understanding. Engaging in community can also enhance your spiritual journey. Surround yourself with fellow believers who can offer support, share their own experiences, and pray with you. Together, you can encourage one another to seek God's guidance and grow in wisdom. Reflecting on the life of Jesus, we see the ultimate example of seeking and following divine guidance. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus prayed earnestly, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." Matthew 26 verse 39. His submission to God's will, despite the immense personal cost, exemplifies the profound trust and obedience that prayer can inspire. Jesus' prayer teaches us the importance of aligning our desires with God's purpose, even when faced with difficult decisions. It encourages us to seek His will above our own, trusting that His plans are ultimately for our good and His glory. In moments of doubt or fear, turn to God in prayer, remembering that He is always listening. The psalmist declares in Psalm 34 verse 17, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles." This assurance can bring comfort and strength, knowing that our prayers are heard and that God is actively working in our lives. Consider the story of Hannah, who prayed fervently for a child. In her anguish, she poured out her heart to God, vowing to dedicate her child to His service if her prayer was answered. Her unwavering faith and persistent prayer were rewarded with the birth of Samuel, who became one of Israel's greatest prophets. Hannah's story, found in 1 Samuel 1, illustrates the power of persistent prayer and the faithfulness of God in answering our deepest desires. Hannah's experience encourages us to remain steadfast in prayer, trusting that God hears our cries and responds in His perfect timing. It reminds us that our prayers are meaningful and that God honors our faith and dedication. As we seek divine guidance and wisdom, it's also important to practice discernment. Not every answer to prayer will be immediate or in the form we expect. Sometimes, God's guidance comes through subtle signs, the counsel of others, or a sense of peace that settles over us. Learning to recognize and interpret these signs requires patience and a heart attuned to His presence. In the book of Proverbs, we are reminded to seek wisdom diligently. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding. Proverbs 3 verse 13. This pursuit of wisdom is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey of seeking, learning, and growing in our relationship with God. Practical steps to cultivate this relationship include regular Bible study, which provides insights into God's character and His promises. Journaling your prayers and reflections can also help you track your spiritual growth and recognize patterns in God's guidance. Additionally, practicing gratitude by acknowledging God's blessings in your life can deepen your sense of His presence and faithfulness. In moments of stillness, listen for God's voice. Sometimes, in the quietness of our hearts, we can discern His guidance more clearly. This practice of listening requires intentionality and a willingness to set aside our own agendas, allowing God to speak to us in His own time and way. The story of Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers yet rising to prominence in Egypt, exemplifies the profound impact of divine guidance. Throughout his trials, Joseph maintained his faith and sought God's wisdom. In Genesis 50 verse 20, he tells his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Joseph's unwavering trust in God's plan, despite his circumstances, highlights the importance of seeking and following divine guidance. Joseph's journey teaches us that even in the darkest times, God is at work, weaving our experiences into a greater tapestry of purpose and redemption. It encourages us to remain faithful, trusting that God's wisdom will ultimately lead us to where we are meant to be. In our daily lives, we may not face the same dramatic trials as Joseph, but we encounter countless moments where guidance and wisdom are needed. Whether it's making decisions about relationships, finances, health, or personal growth, prayer serves as our steadfast anchor, providing stability and direction. Consider the story of Ruth, a woman who chose to follow her mother-in-law Naomi and embrace a new life in Bethlehem. Her decision, rooted in faith and trust in God, led her to become part of the lineage of King David and, ultimately, Jesus Christ. Ruth's story, found in the book of Ruth, is a testament to the blessings that come from seeking and following divine guidance. Ruth's example encourages us to step out in faith, trusting that God has a plan for our lives that is greater than we can imagine. It reminds us that our choices, guided by prayer and wisdom, can have far-reaching and meaningful impacts. As we navigate the complexities of life, it's essential to remember that divine guidance is not about avoiding challenges, but about equipping us to face them with strength and wisdom. In Isaiah 30 verse 21, we are assured, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." This promise reassures us that God is always directing our steps, even when the path is unclear. Embracing this promise involves a conscious decision to trust in God's direction, even when it requires stepping out of our comfort zones or taking risks. It means being open to change and willing to adapt as God leads us towards His intended purpose. Incorporating prayer into every aspect of our lives transforms the way we approach our daily routines. Whether we're starting our day, facing challenges, or winding down at night, prayer becomes a constant thread that weaves through our experiences, providing guidance and wisdom at every turn. Consider the story of Nehemiah, who led the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls despite significant opposition and challenges. Nehemiah's success was rooted in his fervent prayers and unwavering reliance on God's guidance. In Nehemiah 1 verse 11, he prays, "Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who delight in revering your name." His heartfelt prayer set the foundation for a project that not only restored the city, but also renewed the faith of its people. Nehemiah's leadership demonstrates the power of combining prayer with action. It shows that seeking divine guidance empowers us to undertake meaningful endeavors, even in the face of adversity. His story encourages us to approach our own projects and goals with prayerful intent, trusting that God will provide the wisdom and strength needed to see them through. As we seek to deepen our relationship with God, it's important to cultivate a heart of gratitude. Gratitude transforms our perspective, allowing us to see God's hand in every aspect of our lives. It fosters a sense of contentment and trust, reinforcing our reliance on His guidance and wisdom. In 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18, we are instructed, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." This call to gratitude reminds us that even in challenging times, there is always something to be thankful for, and that gratitude aligns our hearts with God's will. Practicing gratitude can be as simple as keeping a daily gratitude journal, where you record the blessings and answered prayers you experience each day. This habit not only shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, but also reinforces your trust in God's provision and guidance. In moments of uncertainty, it can be helpful to revisit the promises of God found in Scripture. Verses like Jeremiah 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future," serve as anchors for our faith. They remind us that God has a purpose for our lives, and His plans are always for our good. Let these promises be a source of comfort and assurance as you navigate life's challenges. Memorize them, meditate on them, and let them guide your prayers and decisions, reinforcing your faith in God's unwavering wisdom and guidance. Another practical way to deepen your relationship with God is through acts of service. Serving others not only fulfills the biblical call to love our neighbors, but also opens our hearts to God's presence and guidance. When we step outside ourselves to help those in need, we often find that God speaks to us in unexpected ways, providing wisdom and insights that we might not have discovered otherwise. Consider the story of the Good Samaritan, who showed compassion and mercy to a stranger in need. His actions were a reflection of his understanding of God's love and guidance. By serving others, we become conduits of God's grace, allowing his wisdom to flow through us and touch the lives of those around us. In your own life, look for opportunities to serve, whether it's volunteering at a local charity, helping a neighbor, or simply offering a listening ear to someone in distress. These acts of kindness not only bless others, but also deepen your connection with God, making his presence more tangible in your daily experiences. As we continue to seek divine guidance through prayer, it's important to remember that God desires an intimate relationship with each of us. This relationship is built on trust, love, and consistent communication. Just as any meaningful relationship requires time and effort, so too does our relationship with God. Invest time in getting to know him through prayer, reading his word, and reflecting on his works. Share your joys, your fears, and your aspirations with him, and listen for his voice in response. This ongoing dialogue fosters a deeper understanding and a more profound trust in his guidance and wisdom. In Psalm 46 verse 10, we are reminded to be still and know that I am God. This call to stillness invites us to pause and recognize God's sovereignty and presence in our lives. It encourages us to relinquish our anxieties and trust in his divine plan, knowing that he is always with us, guiding us every step of the way. As we approach the conclusion of our journey today, let us carry with us the assurance that God is always listening. His guidance and wisdom are ever present, ready to lead us through the complexities of life. Whether we are navigating joyous milestones or enduring challenging trials, his presence remains a constant source of strength and inspiration. Remember that prayer is not just about seeking solutions to our problems, but about building a relationship with the divine. It's about opening our hearts to his love, embracing his wisdom, and trusting in his perfect plan for our lives. As we continue to seek his guidance, let us do so with faith, hope, and unwavering trust, knowing that he is always listening and always faithful. In moments of doubt, recall the stories of Solomon, Moses, Esther, Daniel, Hannah, Joseph, Ruth, Nehemiah, and many others who found their way through prayer and divine guidance. Let their examples inspire you to seek God's wisdom earnestly and to trust in his promises wholeheartedly. As you go forth today, carry with you the peace that comes from knowing that you are never alone. God is with you, listening to your prayers, guiding your steps, and bestowing upon you the wisdom needed to navigate life's journey. Embrace this truth and let it fill your heart with hope, courage, and unwavering faith. May your prayers be a source of strength and clarity, leading you towards a life of purpose and fulfillment. Trust in God's guidance, lean on his wisdom, and know that he is always by your side, ready to lead you towards the path he has lovingly prepared for you.